how does somebody know? We have a ton of people watching live, by the way. Thanks so much for being here and hanging out with us. But for those listening live, how does somebody know that they are compromising, playing small, playing by other people's rules? Because it's so ingrained in us. It's so almost natural just to obviously be deluded. Like, what's the feeling? What is the thoughts? How do we start to recognize?
Yeah, and I love the question, because this is when we start gaining power over the autopilot, the numb part of us that took over our life, right? Is feeling. The answer is always in the question. So it's in the feeling of it, and how you feel. It doesn't feel right. But we're so used to stuff it in, to work with it, to push, to effort, to like, we stop listening to ourselves. I knew a long time ago that everything was off in my life. But you know what? I kept going. I denied that listening to myself, right? And that's what we do. I mean, we so to answer your question, pause, feel. If it feels good, keep doing it. If it doesn't, stop. Stop. Start asking the question, but it starts with noticing what you're noticing. It's kind of having a level of metacognition of, okay, what is actually really happening here? And it starts with recognizing that things are off. And the thing is, and this is really my story, by the way, I was so headstrong. I was such a warrior. Stop crying, be a warrior, right? And when I moved to New York, I was given that title actually in my first consultancy, is like, to be a warrior, so you're not supposed to listen to all the emotions that you're feeling. It's hard, you keep going. Not going to whine about this, right? So the part of you, honor the part of you that knows, and because it doesn't feel right. And then yeah, and then stop. But it's simple, right? It's so simple, and yet it's the hardest thing to do.
I think people forget to check in with themselves.
Absolutely. But because, and I think we're changing that, at least I want to participate in changing that, is being a leader means you don't feel stuff. And that's the opposite. My contribution to the world is say, the more you feel, the more you can contribute. The more you're aware, the more you're awake, the more you can contribute. So do not get numb. So the first thing you do is you're like, pause yourself when you feel like, and then you start breathing again, because life is breath. Start with the breath. And what you're doing with the breath is you're calming your nervous system. Because people don't realize it, but when we are on autopilot, we're on one part of our nervous system, and that's not the part that can think. So we cannot think right when we are in the stress overload, when we're in the fight and flight part of our nervous system. We're disconnected from the power of thinking, the power of creating. So first thing we do, and it's just, again, so simple, tune in, breathe, and what helps is to have a vision. Because then you can move into the vision and you can feel the vision. And that's the energetic part of how we can transform who we are and get ourselves out of the whirlwind that we are, most of us, living in, right? It's because we have something that we love, that we have here, that we're going to bring out to the world. So connecting with something that you would love. And notice that I'm not saying something I'd like. I would love with my heart. It's not my head talking. Disconnecting the head like really helps a lot. And we have to learn to do that.
Mm.
So we quiet down and we're listening to our intuition. We're listening to what we would love, to our desires. We allow.
It's good.
So we keep opening up. That's how we get ourselves out of this thing. And then we take action, because we're not just dreamers, we're builders. And we take action. We anchor in time and space everything that we're here to be and do, right?
Yeah.